Sports News. I'm Barang Tony Uranta. Nigeria Super Eagles intensified training today at the Akwa Ibom International Stadium in Uyo ahead of the Friday friendly against under-23 national team of Ghana, the Black Meteors. The training sessions of the home-based Eagles are being overseen by assistant coach Daniel Mokachi, while the head coach Stephen Keshi is expected to join the team later. Nigeria will play Ghana on Friday's friendly to commission the newly built ultra-modern stadium in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state. And elsewhere, Lionel Messi has scored his 71st Champions League goal to equal the record of Spanish striker Raul Gonzalez. The Argentine got a brace in Barcelona's 2-0 win away victory at Ajax Amsterdam. Manchester City's hopes of making the last 16 received a bad dent as it lost and had 2 men sent off against CSK Moscow. Seydou Doumbia also got a brace. Yaya Toure scored a classy free kick, but he couldn't save City from losing at home. In other results, Chelsea struggled to secure a point at NK Maribor. Bayern Munich's fine run continued with a 2-0 win over AS Roma, while Shakhtar Donetsk crushed Bate Borisov 5-0. Meanwhile, UEFA President Michel Platini says the European governing body is prepared to move the Champions League semi-finals and final to June in 2022 if the World Cup is played in Qatar that year. The 59-year-old, who has always favored the 2022 World Cup being played early in the year to avoid the searing heat of the Gulf summer, said holding the tournament in November and December would cause greater problems for the international calendar. The two-leg Champions League semi-finals are usually played at the end of April and the beginning of May, with the final held at the end of that month. And Real Madrid forward Cristiano Ronaldo says he will work to be the best player of all time after being presented with his 3rd European Golden Boot Award today. The World Football of the Year has a glittering career with both Manchester United and Real Madrid, and he helped the latter to win their 10th European Cup last season. The 29-year-old received the trophy for being the joint top scorer last season in Europe, along with Luis Suarez having hit 31 goals. And finally, tennis world number 3, Rafael Nadal, has been discharged from hospital in Barcelona after undergoing a successful appendectomy. After losing in Basel last month, Spaniard Nadal announced that his difficult 2014 season, where he has endured injury, illness, and worrying defeats, was over, and will be having surgery for appendicitis. He's aiming to return at the Qatar Open, which starts on January the 5th next year in Doha, a tournament he won this year before his body started letting him down. Nadal missed last week's Paris Masters event and will also be absent from the season-ending ATP World Tour Finals in London, where he has twice reached the final. Well, that's it on Sports News for tonight. Ijoma will be back in a moment.
Over now to the foreign scene, and the U.S. Republican Party is leader of the Senate now, and the minority leader, who will soon become the majority leader, says even though they are opposing sides, he'll be working with President Barack Obama on issues they can agree on. Here's Amarachi Ubani with more.
Ijoma, I'm not quite sure how both will work together, as Senator Mitch McConnell has been a fierce critic of President Barack Obama's healthcare program and has promised to block him at every turn. He may be willing to compromise now because of the poll victory. Just yesterday, he made a public address in which he said Republicans begin another race to turn the country around, to restore hope and confidence and optimism to the party and the nation. President Barack Obama's waning popularity is reportedly to blame for the Democrats not winning the majority.
Turns a corner.
Now, staying with our Ebola updates, the Spanish nurse who became the first case of the disease outside of West Africa, Teresa Romero, has described how she survived the virus psychologically. On her recent release from hospital, she read a statement in which she said when she felt like dying, she clung to her memories, her family, and her husband. She then confessed that the disease did not matter to the Western world until the infection was reported there. Finally, there was a perfectly staged accident in Jerusalem when a Palestinian driver drove his car into several pedestrians hours after clashes at the city's Al-Aqsa Mosque. One person was killed. A similar attack had happened in the same area 2 weeks ago, which left one woman and a baby dead. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said this attack was a direct result of incitement by the Palestinian Authority and Hamas. Those were today's major stories on the foreign scene. It's back to you now.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi. And the main news again. African Union leaders have been discussing the return of power to civilians following the military takeover in Burkina Faso and have asked the military to fast-track the handover process. Lawmakers in the Senate have adjourned sitting for a second day in a row over automatic tickets for PDP governors. And the Lagos State Governor, Babatunde Fashola, has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission to explain the discrepancy in the figure of the current number of registered voters whose permanent voters' cards are ready for collection here in Lagos. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. Ijoma Onyato. Do have a good night.